Hey, how's it going? Today I'm gonna be talking about purchasing value and what that is. Purchasing value typically refers to perceived or actual worth of the product or services in relation to its price. It's concept often used in economics, business, and consumer decision making. When individuals, organizations make purchasing decisions, they consider the value they will receive in return for their money. I can give you an example how I'm thinking about it. Perhaps it's not the most basic or very simple way to put things into perspective, but not that many people or prospects or consumers perhaps do spend time thinking about how much it costs, how much ads cost, right? They would see how much it would cost, ads might cost in the shop, but not necessarily they would think about how many of the business people would think of. How much it would cost to produce that product other than put it on the shelf. Most of the business people would crunch numbers and they would think about some of those things differently, right? So then you're up there and you are thinking about okay, how many eggs can I produce, how long it will take me, how much labor it would involve, how it would be required to, and the input costs, so whatever that would be, feeding, maintenance, or looking after the animals, birds, whatever case might be. We're talking about eggs, perhaps chickens, right? So whatever case might be, whatever your groceries are we considering right now, right? What would be input value that you need to input, as well as how much you need to perhaps cost over your products for, so you can either break even or perhaps make some profit on top of that. So a lot of people might think about, okay, so how many birds do I need to have in the first place? Would that be 400? Some other people would say perhaps 400 is break-even point. For people out there who are interested in starting the livestock business, most of the time it would be break-even point of 400 birds in the first place. And I think from that you could then break even and perhaps earn something on top of that just from that point, right? So purchasing value and how much people would go in the shop and some of the consumers have there, where they not necessarily would consider these factors when thinking about business and how much it might cost to set things up in motion to put those acts on the shelf in the first place. Let's take a look at a few key aspects related to purchasing value. Price, this is the cost of the products or services. Buyers compare the price to their budget and expectations to assess whether it represents good value. So some of the people out there would consider, okay, so what would be base point, what they would compare against, right? So and we still, if we will stick with the axe perhaps, what would be the base point, right? They might understand that liquid cash or hard cash would lose its value over time, and they would compare cash perhaps against gas or petrol, and what will be perhaps increase in value and how they would compare against it. So it's very hard to understand how people would like to determine those kind of factors, as well as perhaps determining the price and perhaps how much money they would spend every single day. As a bodybuilder, right? How many eggs you need to eat and how much budget you need to allocate to overall your nutrition value that you would like to get every day, as well as perhaps necessary protein, carbs, and all the other good things, right? So interesting. Some other things to think about the people who are interested in this kind of subject. Quality. The quality of the products or services is a crucial factor. Buyers consider factors like durability, reliability, and performance to determine the price is justified by its quality. Lifetime value is just some of those metrics, and depending on how people would sum those factors when determining price that they're willing to pay, perhaps compare against competitors, compare quality against it, as well as perhaps some of the issues that they're looking to solve and how well this product will solve those problems for them. Features and benefits. Buyers evaluate what features and benefits they will receive. This includes considering how well the product or services meet their needs. Brand reputation, the reputation of the brand or the company. can influence purchasing value, as well known and trusted brand may be seen as provident greater value even if the price is higher. I think it used to be like that. I don't know how much of that still holds, but I personally believe that it used to be like that, right? So where a lot of people out there would stick to one brand, one that they know, and one that would solve problems usually. But I think things are changing, so it's not necessarily as much as it used to be. Comparisons: buyers often compare the products or services to alternatives in the market. This comparison helps determine if it offers better value than competing options. That's something that we should perhaps look into when we're looking at the free markets, right? So what competition and what competition has to offer. This is how it should work on the paper. The longer myself I'm looking in different markets, I have a sense that some of the markets and some of the people or companies operating in those markets do work slightly different. I wish it was like that. Wish. Uh, Even to looking at different places like different cities like Las Vegas itself, right? There's only two companies within all city running the place, right? So if it's only two different companies, so perhaps what you if you have perhaps to compare something against something, that yes, there are two different companies. So let's avoid having just one company. Let's have two companies there, right? So all city has been run by two different companies. Long-term costs. Sometimes a lower initial price might result in higher long-term costs due to maintenance, repairs, or replacement. Buyer considering these factors then assessing value. I mean, most of the time, yeah, would be entry level, right? And perhaps long-term or lifetime costs. Again, it depends on the problem, right? So some of the decisions out there might need to more of your time before making up your mind what to purchase. Subjective factors. Value is subjective. What one person considers a good value, another might not. Personal preferences, needs, and circumstances can all play a role. Customer reviews and recommendations. Many buyers seek out reviews and recommendations from others who have purchased the same product or services. Positive feedback can enhance the perceived value. Overall, if anything, I would highly recommend for people out there think or begin thinking about ROI or return on your investment. So if you were to think about some of the decisions that you're making and how you're allocating your resources. ROI, it's a business context. Purchasing value often involves calculated or calculating ROI. Companies assess how much benefit or profit they can gain from purchasing compared to its cost. So if you were to invest as a company into perhaps good food, nutritionist food, or good software that could potentially increase your overall performance as a company, then you can assess perhaps so that would be key metrics that I would highly recommend to taking a look at. Perhaps customer service, many different factors, what based on your experience that you might value higher, but ROI should be up there. For people up there who are interested in learning more, I have published a book. In this book, I'm sharing a lot of information for people who are interested in learning more about their own body, how your body works, what you need to eat for your body to perform better, some of the diets up there, conventional diets, perhaps if it's something that you haven't tried it before, I would highly recommend to try different perhaps time periods, if anything, how you can eat, what food you should be eating, and if anything, it will come back to training and perhaps putting your body under stress, and then lifting weights, pushing it to the limit, and how you can improve your body. That would be some of those areas, as well as the rest periods. So that would be some of those areas that I would highly recommend if I want to try, and perhaps work more on your body, as well as perhaps your personal circumstances, whatever case might be. You can find it in the description below, as well as Top Retailers has it. to make an informed purchasing decisions, individuals and organizations need to weigh these factors and consider their specific needs and priorities. Ultimately, purchasing value is about ensuring that what is received is worth at least as much as what is paid, if not more. So some more people put together this formula, right? Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.